Trip After Party on the Power Trip Podcast Network.
All right, it is the After Party Podcast. It is the 30th and final day of June of 2020, and it is 8:58. We're waiting on Sauce. I don't know if he had a spot or if he's hanging around with Nordo or what the hell the deal is. He had a spot?
I was looking at it earlier. It doesn't look good. Very irregular shape.
Really? Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Right. That's very odd.
Kind of an acidy taste,
Yeah.
too.
What? Didn't taste good?
This is a hell of a tease. It's like a 3-hour tease.
I
That
can't wait
Max's
for this
story is that good. So
It is a
if he
great
doesn't
story.
bring it, then it's going to be a fucking waste of time.
Well,
so.
here's the thing. This is a very good
on.
story, and I will say, Max is somebody who is not assuming that you need it, but is trying to guide your career a little bit here at the very beginning of what I am sure is a long and fruitful career. I just say to take some caution in what you're going to say, so we don't offend anybody. And
the
that
beauty
said,
of it being a podcast, we could edit out bullshit
Yeah.
if it's
right.
a fireable offense or a career ender for Max.
Just tell the story as is. And
Yeah, and then we'll get out the old carving knife if we need to. Max, go ahead.
You want me to just start from the beginning?
I think go ahead. Yeah, just start from the beginning and tell me your thought process going in. If this is something you normally would do, such and such.
Okay. So I was on Bumble, as I am.
Which is a what now?
It's a dating app, but only the women can start the conversation.
Ooh, okay.
So
Fantastic.
So all you do is basically post your profile and they contact you. You can't contact
takes all
them.
the awkwardness away from Tinder. And, literally you cannot message them. And
Got
they have,
you.
24 hours to
I
message
like this
you.
idea. a
So
lot.
you can
That's good.
see them, though. You can look at them.
Yeah,
That's
you
got to
can
be
look-
unbelievably frustrating. You're like, wow, she looks beautiful. I can't get a
Right.
hold of her.
Yeah.
that
yeah.
has to suck.
Damn it. How do I find her?
It's like being married.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not going to lie, since the Black Lives Matter stuff, I've been getting a lot of love.
Yeah, right on.
You got the jungle fever, want to be down with the color brown, that's okay.
Absolutely,
Good
yeah.
for
So, and this girl matched with me, and she looks okay. And it said that she has one leg. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, sweet, that would be, And so we matched. She was trying to come over right away, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, literally that day. So she came over, called her Uber or whatever, because I'm a gentleman.
Yeah, that's nice of you.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
Yeah, that's very nice.
She came over, and I'm not even joking, within 10 minutes of her being over, she looked at me, she interrupted our regular conversation. And I literally had just met this woman this day.
What were you talking about? Give me a gist of your regular
what's the-
conversation in the first 10
What's
minutes
the
of meeting
small
somebody.
talk?
Is it awkward as hell as somebody that's never done online dating?
It is really, it's kind of awkward. It's less awkward when you've been talking to someone for a longer period of time, but
Yeah.
I had just met her
Right, and
that
this
day.
isn't right. You're not meeting at a park bench, right? She's at your place.
Yeah, she was at my house.
And this is
So-
not somebody that you're going to marry and date for a long time. I mean, there's only one reason to hook up on Bumble, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're talking for 10 minutes. She interrupts
About what?
me. Life,
Just
I guess.
literally like what do you do for a job?
What jersey
yeah,
you're going to
yeah.
wear to work tomorrow?
Yeah,
But just-
exactly.
This is just filler, right?
Yeah, just
you
filler.
weren't having a
Nothing-
serious conversation.
Nothing
You're just
erotic or
bullshit
anything.
Small talk.
She interrupts me, looks me dead in my eyes, points towards my crotch, and said, "In me tonight."
Wow. Is that right? Wow. That's those are.
And so I was
wow.
like, well, all right, sweet, let's go inside. And so, because we were in my garage. And so we went inside.
Wow.
She
Man, I was born too soon.
took her leg off, took her pants off,
Okay.
and we did the damn thing.
Okay. May I ask a couple of impertinent questions?
Yeah,
Just
of
because
course.
I'm curious. What are we talking from the hip down? Are we talking from the knee down?
It was from the knee down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
All
as
right.
John Kreese would call that a paper cut.
A paper cut. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Gotcha.
Interesting.
Very, very, very interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Could she have kept the prosthetic on?
During sex?
She could have, right?
Yeah, I guess she could have. But
just
she wanted to
chose
get
not to.
loose. She wanted to get free, man.
Yeah. Right.
You were the
Right.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
She wanted to do the
How do I ask this delicately? Does that give you the opportunity for different angles that you
Ooh,
wouldn't normally
good
be
question.
Good question,
available
Aguado.
to have?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of flexibility, and pretty much like the first thing she did, she got on top. So I mean, she had some moves.
Oh, okay. Good for her. Wow. Interesting.
She doesn't have an OnlyFans. Sorry, Zach.
Yeah, interesting. Great.
Interesting.
Okay, so you do this, and
She came upstairs. I took a drink. It just happened.
Yeah.
There was a point where I said this is weird, but it was more because of the things that she was saying to me. It had nothing to do with her leg.
God.
Like,
Oh,
she
my.
was actually just a very strange person.
Was she super into it? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
and she was like I said, we just met that day,
Yeah.
and she was asking me to do things that you shouldn't ask people to do
On day number
on
one.
day
On
one?
day one.
Wow.
Hockey's so pissed that he wasn't born.
Yeah, I was
20
born too
years
late.
later.
And of course you obliged, I would guess, right? Because you're a good guy.
Not everything that she
Really?
asked for. Yeah,
Dear
no.
God.
And
There
again, I
was-
could edit this out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
What were some stop signs?
Yeah, what were some
Well-
things she was screaming?
She really she just stopped in the middle, and she was like,
Careful.
Jeez.
Zach is
You're
throwing
knocking
things.
shit over.
Wow.
My God, that got you excited. It's the fastest Zach's move.
Wow. Getting away from this in particular lady, may I just ask you some questions about the Tinder/Bumble thing?
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. So have you used Tinder and Bumble both?
yeah, I use them both.
And you like Bumble because it basically gives it her complete power over everything, right?
Yeah, the
That
woman
makes sense to
controls
me.
all the conversation.
Right.
And sometimes, I mean, Tinder, I feel like there's too much power.
Yeah.
There's too much pressure
Yeah,
on the dude to start the conversation, so Bumble's nice.
Interesting.
And again, you don't have to give me any numbers, of course, but is it pretty easy? Like if you put your face on there and like you get lots of people reaching out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think I'm a young, handsome, caramel-skinned man, so maybe it's just me, but I have a lot of success on there. Let's just say that.
See, what you're saying, though, is
for
actually
you.
why it
Good for
terrifies me and why I would never want to be single during the internet dating era is because I like, if you send out a tweet and you think you got a clever-ass tweet, you're like, fuck yeah, this is super smart, and you tweet it, and you're just staring at it going, why is nobody retweeting this?
Right.
Why is
That's
nobody
super
liking
clever.
this? Right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine checking my Bumble profile on a daily basis and going, no messages, son of a bitch!
Right.
No one
What's
cares.
wrong with my face?
Right.
Like, it would be daily. Like, when I was single without internet dating, I would go home and go, well, I'm single for another year because I don't go out. I don't meet people. So at least I could tell myself, I'm kind of a catch. Just nobody gets to meet me. If I had a daily reminder that everybody on Bumble saw me and nobody fucking picked me, I would have been depressed super quick.
All the time.
Instead of when I was just 25.
It is depressing on Tinder because there's a super-like option. So if you see someone, you're like, oh, this is a dime,
Yeah.
this is a gem, I'm going to super like it. And yeah, that doesn't usually always go well. So
Yeah, I can see that. But that's one side of it there, Corey. The other side that I see, again, it just opens up the door to so much sex.
It does.
I mean, honestly, if you could, and again, I like the idea of Bumble, which I'd never heard of, by the way, until he told me today. I didn't even know it existed. That tells you how out of the loop I am. But the idea that you put your face on there, and if a girl is interested in you, reaches out to you, and you know she's reaching out to you to get it on, my
Right.
God.
And to your point, and maybe that's how a lot of our lives would have been different, is think of how that will test your standards, right?
Yes.
Like, I was
It
single
does.
because I'm like, I know what
Yeah,
I'm, right,
right.
'cause I know what I'm looking for. Like, when I was single for, again, a decade, I had like the type of gal I was kind of looking for, and I went years without finding them. So then when I found one, I'm like, I'm going to chase that one forever until I get her to agree to it. If I was constantly being offered options from gals that I don't think technically met my, quote, standards, at some point I would have been like, all right, I'm probably not going to spend the rest of my life with this gal, but I have to at least investigate this because I got nothing else to do. So I think that would have been I got to scoop up a couple of 3s or 4s here because I'm bored as fuck.
I never.
You're pointing right at Chris.
I would never have gotten this job or even gotten. I would have been so busy banging.
Sure.
Because
Anything that agreed to you.
I'm being completely. I mean, the idea that you didn't have to sit at the bar or at the restaurant or at the club and wonder if she likes you.
That was the worst.
Right.
That's
I hated it.
unbelievable, man.
I hated it.
Yeah,
I mean-
Hockey's fingerprints would have run out swiping. Right?
I'd have been like, I can schedule you for Tuesday at 2.
Yeah.
Does that
You know
time
what's
work
crazy?
for you?
We did the story like a month ago on the show. What's crazy is Max's and Zach's generation, though, they're having less sex than ours. which is super weird.
That seems odd.
I know, but the numbers apparently work out that I think that people that are having sex are having tons of it.
Yeah.
But the percentage of people that aren't, I think there is almost like I said, there's this giant wave of rejection with your generation because you guys feel the rejection daily, or in Max's case, the acceptance.
Right.
But so I do think there's there's got to be this constant fear because you're always checking your profile. I don't know, man, because I don't know. That's what the numbers are saying, is that these kids are doing it. But they also have a million other things to be distracted by.
Yeah, for sure. That's true.
We had one focus when we were 22 years old. Like, we got to find a girl.
That is a great point. If it's not hard to do, then you don't have to spend all your time trying to do it.
The chase
That's
was
so
what
true.
we spent so much of our time on is how do I
was
impress this gal? How do I get in front of this gal? Like, what's the next time I can see this gal? These kids don't give a fuck. They got a 1,000 things to do. They'll find somebody else in 2 seconds.
Might this gal go? Is this gal going to go out on Thursday to happy hour where we normally go? Is she going to possibly be there?
It's the classic bit from Swingers, right? Is, gosh, I have to wait 4 days to call her back. They fucking text or tweet people constantly. They're not going to wait 4 days for a call back.
No,
we had to
fuck
play
that.
the game.
And imagine, and good for the ladies that a lady now has the opportunity to say, I'm horny.
Right.
I'm going to go
100%.
meet
Good
this
for them.
good-looking dude, and I'm going to tell him 10 minutes into the conversation in his garage that I want his penis inside me.
Because
Good for
let's
her.
be honest, it was a two-way street. She was clearly using you. You were using her. So there's no victim there. It's a win-win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're
It's
both.
a victimless hobby.
That's why there's no point in when she's in your garage yip-yap, and it's not like, so what are your thoughts on the George Floyd murder? There's no point in having a serious discussion. At some point, she was looking at you going, this is great, but you're wasting my fucking time.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we just go inside?
Wow.
I didn't Uber here for your thoughts. Let's go.
Right.
You're wasting. I'm going to go back on Bumble and super like somebody else.
Right.
Max.
And
Come on.
I'm
Probably
assuming
tomorrow.
that Bumble is like Tinder in the idea that, like, if you meet with somebody, you're going to get it on. Have you ever met with somebody a couple of times before you got it on, or is it always we're meeting, so this is obvious we're going to get it on?
It's usually, we usually talk for a while, but it becomes pretty obvious through the conversation.
Wow,
what's
that's
going
fascinating,
on.
dude. That's it's like I'm talking to somebody from a different planet. That's how much different it is from when I grew up.
But
man.
it's a whole different. There's different negative sides too. The constant people feel that they have to constantly be connected to you now. Like you have, like some of these girls, you meet them and then you talk to them on Bumble and they say, "Oh, here's my number" or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're texting all day, every day for an unquantifiable amount of time. It's draining.
Your generation's ability to keep long-term relationships.
Yeah.
I bet it's going to fuck it up bad because because think about the constant temptation to cheat.
Yeah,
constant.
especially
you have access round the clock. Like if you are spending a couple of years, like it seems like you are, Max, just having the time of your life. How are you going to turn that off? It's the same reason athletes and actors and movie stars don't ever really stay faithful because they have opportunity around the clock. Your entire generation is going to be used to just having access to it whenever they want.
The classic line, you got a point to make, but I got to say this classic line because it pertains to this. The classic line is, a man is as faithful as his options.
Sure. And this whole generation has endless options.
Right.
And correct. And unlike when Corey and I, and Corey's a little bit older, but not much older, when we're
like 2 years apart. You make it sound like I'm 15 years older than you. You're like, what are you, 38?
Not yet, no.
Oh, okay.
But when we were that age, the only way you could cheat on somebody is you'd have to have contact with them via phone.
Yeah.
Telephone.
Telephone. Now, you can fucking cheat in silence.
Yeah.
You can cheat in silence.
And it can be a one and done.
Right. Not even that, but you can have a full-on relationship with somebody just on your goddamn phone, and the other person is none the wiser.
On Instagram, you can literally unsend DMs now. So you could have a whole conversation, set up your cheating or whatever, and then completely and just unsend it, and it never
What's crazy
existed.
to me though is the opposite, right? Is let's say both partners understand that threat is real. The couples that have like the
Find my
that would if Angie ever suggests that would terrify me. I don't want to know where she is 24 hours a day. I don't want her to know where I am 24 hours a day. If you're in a relationship where it's like you know where I am. I'm at work. I'm probably at Target. I'm at the casino. Where would I be? And if you're worried, then we have a problem anyway.
Correct.
But so you got a generation of kids that are going to be super paranoid. They're going to do the trace things. They're going to be constantly checking for secret posts. Right, Sauce, you got the info about like people that have apps that hide all their personal shit that look like
calculators where the calculator. You have to
Everybody's
put a
hiding
code
everything
in.
from everybody. That's just the game now moving forward. Is how do you hide information and contact?
Yeah, you mentioned celebrities, Corey, but one of the biggest benefactors of things like Tinder is professional athletes because they go to town. They have a hotel room. And I know this because I've got friends who are girls who have been with professional athletes. Obviously, not going to say who.
Yeah.
But that's a regular thing when they come to town. They're just it's the easiest thing. You just.
But how do that's what I've never understood. This is the Charlie Sheen mentality. Charlie Sheen once brilliantly said that he pays prostitutes because they're basically paid to stay quiet, right? Because they don't want to get busted for being prostitutes. I just will never understand in an instant social media world how these athletes go town to town. And they like, I don't have to go out in the bars. I can just Tinder a gal, and then I can keep it. Who's to say she doesn't go straight to social media and just say, I just fucked so-and-so? Like,
some of them do.
Right. Who was the gal? Remember the I just fucked, was it Julian Edelman?
Yeah, she took it. Well, and then there
She
was
took a picture of herself with him
who's
sleeping.
the hockey player?
Fedorov.
No.
The fucking
for
guy
the Penguins. Forever. Obviously Paris.
Yager.
He's like, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
He fucks some like 21-year-old
model.
gal.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is what I do.
Yeah, and her boyfriend got mad, and he's like, okay.
Right, and the boyfriend.
Yeah.
That story was the boyfriend was like a top Russian hockey prospect, and his hero was Jaromir Jagr. And Jagr banged his girlfriend.
Oh
Why
my
are you
God!
that bad though? Then that'd be an honor. Take her.
Nick Hexum's my hero. I don't want the lead singer of 311 banging my wife. I wouldn't be. I 100% would not want that.
If you were involved, you'd be fine with it.
Fuck that.
100% no. Hey, George Carlin, here, have at it. Big fan of yours. Give her a go.
I've actually heard of like weird internet fan base people doing that with celebrities, like offering up their girlfriends to different celebrities on Twitter and stuff like that.
Well, that's Hockey's Slaughter story.
Yeah, literally.
Summation is there has to be so many pros and cons of what you guys get to do. But I don't know. It's going to be a fascinating case study in like 20 years how it impacts your entire generation. And clearly the generations after you. Because all these kids in middle school now know everything about sex because of the internet and social media. There's no like, I didn't know what such and such was. There's no, you can't play the naive card anymore.
You can look it up on your phone.
Everybody knows everything because it's all right there. Right, you just look it up and figure out what it is.
Kids are smart enough that they know you can look it up and immediately delete the history and all that shit.
Yeah,
It's
that's
crazy,
weird, man.
Right.
That's really weird, but it also, I mean, there's some safety there as well because you have the conversation between the two of you, so you can say, look, we were going to have sex. This is what the conversation was about, you know? And man, weird. Again, it's like an alien world to me, man, but I see the pros and some cons for sure, but I see a lot of
How
damn
about
pros.
the trust factor, not just in terms of cheating, but how about if you know everybody's playing the game the way the game's played now, not the way that it used to be, how do you ever trust anybody you're even texting with before you meet them?
It's hard.
I mean,
especially because, I mean, you don't even have to look good. Any woman out there right now has like 3 thirsty dudes in their DMs.
Oh, my God.
Asking,
of course.
Right.
Dick is more readily available than pizza is. Like, you can get it 25-8. Like, so it's really hard. And just knowing you have options. You know, one day your girlfriend's tripping, someone's in your inbox. Or your boyfriend's tripping, someone's in your inbox.
Man, that's
you know,
so
it's
true,
like,
right?
It could just be a temporary lapse. Like,
holy moly, that's so true.
There's a lot that goes into it.
You guys are fucked.
Oh yeah, and they probably will. Even the girl probably even tell you, "Listen, I have a boyfriend, but I still want to do this." Like that's ever going to stop? You know, right?
That will never stop.
No, never. Wow, man, it's an alien world. Oof. I don't know. Maybe I did grow up at the same time.
Obviously, I can't predict because otherwise I'd be a billionaire. But I can't imagine what this generation is going to look at the next generation and go, "You guys are doing that? That's out of my. That's what are you doing?
What could possibly be the next step?
Like virtual reality sex.
But every generation does this, right? It's the whole like you turn into your parents and you don't think so, right? When you're like old and you're looking at the generation after you, going, "I can't believe you like this music," right? I did that at like 35. I'm like, "Fuck, I'm that guy." So it's going to be the same thing with these guys. They're going to look at the next generation and go, these kids are idiots. How can you possibly date like that? That's not how we did it. It's going to be even weirder and worse somehow. Correct. The next generation will find a weirder way to date.
You've said multiple times about, like, you fuck actual humans? What are you doing
at some point, that's right here. Hopefully it's not in our lifetime, but I do think that is right around the corner. A lot of experts say we're gonna get there.
Right.
That people are gonna say, why am I wasting my time with sexually transmitted diseases or accidental pregnancies when they're gonna have robots that are so close to human, right? Or relationships,
right?
You just want to go frickin' Clooney on it for eternity, but have a chick that's a 10 whenever you want. That's a robot. What's the difference?
You can point at me all you want. Damn right.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm almost 50. My penis barely works. What's that?
Have you watched real doll porn?
No.
I've seen that on one of those episodes of, what is that, Real Sex? That used to come on HBO.
Friend of mine who, that's his
I got to tell you, man, can I be gross but completely honest with you?
Sure.
That would seem to me almost like you feel like you're effing a dead body.
I agree.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
But
right?
that's the real dolls. But think these robots.
Robots are different.
They're gonna fuck back at some point.
Right?
Yeah, in virtual reality eventually. I mean, you could just literally you could have a woman that's not even physically possible to be in real life.
Sure.
Like you have a
like
chick from an anime
Recall
or
sauce.
something.
Right.
Oh, 3 boobies.
Well, you know what's better than 3 boobies?
4.
Yeah.
You know what's better than 4 sauce?
5. It looks like I have 5 tits.
Okay.
Have you ever gotten to the situation and like they show up and they don't look like the picture or anything like that?
All the time, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
All the time.
Not like extremely.
Yeah, right.
But everybody, takes their flattering angles and stuff like
right.
that. And some people, I notice, no offense, everybody, not fat shaming anybody or anything, but the bigger girls usually they don't have the pictures below the shoulders.
Sure,
so
right.
that's a key sign there.
Yeah, right.
Too.
So have you ever agreed to basically, hey, let's do this, and then in person you're like, shit, how do I get out of this? Because now that I actually see it, I'm not doing this.
It's never been that bad. It's never been that bad.
Yeah.
But at that point, I also just usually grab the scotch. So.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
I do love
your
scotch.
Obi-Wan over
Max
there
has a
would
plan,
tell you.
man.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I would love
Better
to
looking
do
than
this
that.
10 minutes in, but I need about 5 more drinks.
Yeah, right.
And then this is happening.
Right.
Do they? Again, my lack of knowledge is unbelievable. Is there? This is a dumb question, but maybe it's not. Is there like a review thing, like 5-star? Can people like leave ratings of you?
There was a thing that came out a couple years ago that started doing that. It was a website, but it kind of died down. But yeah, because naturally you can't verify anything,
right,
so people were going to making their ex-boyfriend a profile, saying his dick is 1 inch big or whatever.
Right.
So, but no, there's no reviews, unfortunately.
Wow. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Huh.
Is that whole thing about the Golden State Killer true? Did you guys see that on the internet? From like the one, maybe it's in episode 1. I should have asked Rosie. That one of his identifying features was an abnormly small penis.
Like a micro.
Of course, dude.
That, like,
right?
Yeah.
Does that shock you at all?
A lot of his victims that survived pointed that out, like in terms of how could you describe them? They were all like freakishly small penis.
Yeah.
Wow,
that makes
that's
sense.
great.
Psychologically.
I didn't know if it was just because he pled guilty this week. I didn't know if they were just trolling him or if that was actually in the documentary because I haven't seen episode 1 yet.
It's horrid. Obviously, did you hear how many counts of rape he has?
No,
like 60 or something.
Yeah,
it's
wow.
like 60.
Jesus
and he's killed like
Christ.
15, right?
Shoot him.
And I don't even think they
fucking
know
head.
everyone that he did
Right.
it
There's
to
no
either.
chance
So,
they do. Yeah,
for sure.
Right.
And how was he caught?
I don't remember.
DNA, right?
DNA,
Yeah, I believe it was DNA.
I think it was from Ancestry.com or one of
Something
those
like that.
websites,
Yeah,
23andMe or something, and
Yeah.
one of his relatives sent it in or something like that.
Wow, man.
Fucking, is it
Just kill him.
It's just a 1 episode. It's like every Sunday, right?
Yes, I think it's a 6-part documentary.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch that.
But I'm telling you, man, that like, what was the other? Was it McMillions? What was the other one that we complained about that? Oh, the Jordan bit even.
Well, yeah.
It's like if you just had given it to everybody at the same time, just let us watch it at our own pace. The weekly shit for documentaries is tough.
Well,
now.
Again, man, that's
we're not accustomed to that anymore.
Not
I
anymore.
want to binge them.
I know. Isn't
The
that
main
something?
focus of what's the serial killer Netflix bit? Mindhunter.
Mindhunter. Yeah.
The main
yeah.
story in Mindhunter about the Atlanta child murders, they made a documentary about that. It's unbelievably tough to watch. It's extremely interesting, but you forget about it 4 weeks. You're like, oh yeah, that's on.
Yeah.
It's tough to
I always
watch,
wait till
but-
the shows are over and then
Yeah.
watch them as a binge. But
I'll watch. Yeah, I want to watch the Gold. I wish it was on Netflix. You could watch all of them.
man.
Yeah, who wants to wait the next 5 weeks?
Hawk's dad.
Hey, Zach.
Yeah,
Before you beat off today, would you please go have your heart checked?
for sure, man.
I'm serious, dude. I'm worried about you.
Bumble and fucking give out on him, and they're going to write a really shitty review.
And you can be
Zach
honest.
died. Don't date him.
And he has 5 tits.
Dude, be honest with me. You weren't choking yourself when you were doing that, were you?
I wasn't at the time. No,
Always have a spotter.
Always have a spotter, please.
I know.
Ask Michael Hutchins or David Carradine. They
I
didn't
know.
survive not having a spotter.
Poor David Carradine, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
what killed Bill was not having a spotter.
Yeah.
oh,
Brilliant.
is there like, how do you get us? Like, I suppose you have to have like a friend, right? Like, how do you get a spotter though?
Usually
friends
you
are the
use your
fucking
grandma.
worst.
Grandma or mom.
Yeah, your mom.
Oh, no, no.
No wonder Zach wants his grandmother out of that home so
He
badly.
said it so
Never ask
casually.
any-
Spot for
Never
him.
ask anyone from Indiana what kind of spotter you need.
Oh my God.
All right, that'll do it. What the hell are you going to label this podcast?
Oh, man. Come on.
God damn, that'll do it. You're out of here.